This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, look at that. The wild dogs, they are just here by the Vuyotela pen. It's quite a very big family. I can see that there is quite a lot of them also on the other side. A very, very good morning and welcome to the beginning of the morning game drive. I am Sydney Pumurani Mikosi and I am going to be with you this morning together with VM, who is my camera operator. My plan this morning is to look around here and see if I can find Hosanna and the other cats who are trying to come and see what Hosanna has got at the moment. For your questions and comments, you can follow us on Twitter, hashtag SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. Thank you very, very much to all the viewers who gave me the updates with regards to the wild dogs here by the dam camp. The wild dogs can be so very fast. Look at them now. They are heading towards that direction. Not too sure what these wild dogs are chasing there. So let me just follow them and see what they're trying to do. They're just spreading everywhere. Yeah, that was awesome. I just saw something running in front. I'm not too sure if it was an impala or a small antelope. So I'm just going to go there now, heading towards the Mvubu Road area. You can see now they are coming down central. So the wild dogs, they hunt in packs. And they've got a good combination as well. Oh, there's a hyena here looking at the wild dogs. And see that right in front here. You can see that the hyena is also looking at the wild dogs. And it is this area where yesterday Hosanna was hiding some of the food. So I'm just going to carry on and see the painted dogs, the wild dogs. This is my first wild dog sighting in Djuma. So now let's go back to the Mara. Brent is about to kickstart the game drive.
Well, good morning, and welcome to a chilly Masai Mara. My name is Brent Leo Smith, and I have the big man, James Moriti, on camera. And we are heading south towards the river this morning. And it sounds like you guys have already had a wonderful start with Sydney on Djuma, with my favorite animal in the world, the African wild dog. Now remember, hashtag SafariLive. If you have any questions, that's on Twitter. Is that a lion? I think it is a lion. So, dogs and cats first thing this morning. I'm pretty sure that's a lion. I can see at least two. This will be the Olololos, in theory. But the line dynamics are so scrambled at the moment here in the Mara. Hi guys, where are the rest of you? This looks like two sub-adults. Well, let's try get us that quintessential Mara lion sunrise. Ba-boom, there we go. Don't get much better than that, I'm afraid. Hello, kitties. It's okay. Looks like two little boys. I do not see the rest of the pride at the moment. Now, it's not uncommon for little boys to be separated from the pride, or sub-adults in that, when they are hunting and moving about. But they look a little bit peckish, but quite playful. Hi, guys. Isn't that absolutely stunning? Achoo! Now they keep looking a little bit further to the south, so I'm checking down in the distance, but I don't see, well, now they're looking to the north. Absolutely magic. What happened to the rest of the pride, guys? No. There you can see the sunrise popping up over the horizon. But while our lines are static, let's send you back to Sydney with those ever active wild dogs.
You can see now the wild dogs here at the Vuyo Terrapen. It's just that they are not settled. They are just going all direction, different direction here. Look at the little ones. They are also running around here. I'm sure they are learning from the adults how to also conduct the hunting activities, as play is one of the very most important tool for this. Look at that. You can see that positioning, that the little ones, they're enjoying learning, doing some hunting. So play is one of the very much important tool for the little ones in order to learn how to ambush and how to run. Look at that. They're diving, and this is interesting. You can see their white tails there, which helps them as well when they're running away to follow each other. This is interesting. It's the first time for me to see the wild dogs here in Djuma. So this is one of the lovely sighting. So we have just seen the two different carnivores just now. As we saw the hyena, you can see one of them is even cooling here. It's getting cold a little bit. Oh, another hyena is approaching. I can see the hyena is approaching right there in front. You can see. So this hyena looks very much brave because he's seeing them and he's right going to the water hole. You know, the stomach looks very full there. You can see now that the dogs are going to the hyena. Oh, now there's a fight now. Oh, the dogs are chasing the hyena now. Oh, you can hear the hyena is screaming. So these dogs are now busy chasing that hyena. Let me just pull forward and then see. You can see now they're coming back this side. So you can see they left him alone. Now they are coming back this side. So these wild dogs can be very fast. Now they're heading up towards the quarantine. I'm just going to try and turn here so that we can go back and have a good sighting. Oh, another hyena here is coming to assist the one who was just giving a distress call. Hyena. So now I have got Hosanna as well here. So things are happening up in a tree. So you can see that things are happening. I've got 3 different predators right at the same spot now. You can see Hosanna is high up looking at the wild dogs chasing the hyenas, and the hyenas are just passing by underneath this tree. So you can see that Hosanna is also very worried about these hyenas passing by, and hyenas are being chased by the wild dogs at the same time. So this is something very rare. So I'm just going to go back to the wild dogs there and see if we can have a better sighting, because I can see that Hosanna is very much stable up in this tree at the moment. I will come back here so that we can have a better sighting. Unexpectedly, we found Hosanna. If it was not because of VM, my camera operator, I would have passed here. He's the one who spotted Hosanna while I was looking at the hyena. So now let's go back to the Masai Mara. Brent is looking for something.
Well, we're still sitting with these little boys. They are doing some soft contact calls, and I was hoping that the rest of the pride might come streaming in from the distance, but not yet. But this is glorious light that we're sitting with at the moment. And the rangers are heading out. I'm just going to have to move the car a little bit so they can get past me. I'm just going to move forward so they can get past the lions, and then we'll move back. There you go, some of the rangers. Where are those little horrors now? So, morning Jojo. Jojo is asking, do I think they could be lost? It's a possibility, Jojo, but it's not that uncommon for prides to get separated during hunts, etc. And they should find the rest of the pride without too much difficulty. Just beautiful light. Now, there's a strong possibility we might bump into the rest of the pride a bit further down the road, and you never really know. Oh, there we go. I heard another lion down in front of us somewhere. Carol's asking what I call these guys sub-adults. Yes, Carol, they're around a year old. I would call them sub-adults. It sounded quite far in front of us towards Sheeny, in the direction that little boy is looking now. I heard it. Okay, well, I'm going to stay a little bit longer here to see what plays out next, but we'll send you back to Sydney and Lichen Pictus.
You can see that the little ones as well, they are so very much inquisitive. So there's quite a lot of activities taking place here, because I can see the other wild dogs are also looking at the other side, and I can hear some of the alarm calls from some of the francolins, the birds on the other side. Maybe those birds are just giving the warning signals about the presence of the hyenas that we have just seen earlier. Lovely to see the little ones. They are so cute. Look at these round ears. Amazing to see the wild dogs, the hyenas, as well as the lions. A lot of sighting already. Hey, look at that. Look at how they're playing. They're hugging each other and playing, and this is interesting. Now they're just dispersing everywhere. You can see the big ones there. It seems like they are giving orders to these little ones. Look at that. That was a nice hug. I'm sure these little ones do spoil the chances of the big ones to catch the prey, because they are fond of interested on playing too much. A cat, the wild dogs are not much more related to. You can check the wild dogs, they are just at their own family. So the hyenas are much more related to the cats. That's why if you can, the hyenas, they are little ones, they are also called cubs. They are called puppies. A lot of people get confused. People used to call them the hyena puppies, but they are not puppies, they are cubs. And then whereas the wild dogs, they are little ones, they are called puppies. This is a very nice play, but it's dangerous because they play, make use of the tooth opening and grabbing, so that can be dangerous, I'm sure. Oh, look at that one was trying to eat an old buffalo dung. Look at that. This is interesting. Linda, I can see that the little baby is okay. And these babies, while they are playing around here, the old ones, the adults, are also coming, interfering every time. So it seems like some, they are playing dangerously, because I have seen the big ones intervening already here. So here comes another hyena coming from that direction at the back, right there. Behind them, you can see another hyena is passing by. So I don't know what's going to happen to that one, because earlier on we saw them chasing another hyena. You can see that they're looking at that hyena passing by. So now I'm just going to reposition. Now, as I can see that they are heading much more towards the quarantine, and see if we can have a better sighting. They are going to be able to, sorry, maybe they are going to pick up the smell from the carcass left by Hosanna on that marula tree. I'm just going to count that now. I will just check now how many adults and how many puppies. But it seems like it's quite a lot of puppies there. So I think there is approximately 6 puppies. So I just want to now check if their sense of smell is good, because they are right close to the marula tree where the leopard left some food yesterday. What I'm talking about here is Hosanna. So you can see now that the little ones, they are now all passing by, and the big ones are right in front. So the tree that you are seeing, the stem now, is where the food has been hidden by Hosanna. Right on top there, somewhere by those branches, there is something hanging. So these wild dogs, they're just passing under that tree. But they didn't manage to pick up any scent from that dead animal up there. So, but they are walking very fast. Now they are dispersing much more towards the eastern side of the game reserve. I am going to again reposition and follow them and see if we can have a better visual. Safari Sally, I'm not too sure how many different packs we have in the game reserve, but sometimes we see the packs such as this one, big sizes, and sometimes individuals. Sometimes we see 2 or 3. So it's quite very difficult to tell if the other splitted small groups are coming from this group. So now, let's see, James is just about to start his bush walk at the moment. Let's see what James is planning to do this morning.
Well, I'm planning to try and make some form of contribution to this drive. Lions already, wild dogs, hyenas and leopard. I'm not sure what more I can do really, but I'm going to do my best. My name is James Henry. Good morning to you. I hope you're all well on this Sunday morning. I must just reiterate and say to all of you, although most of you will not know what on earth I'm talking about, that the Springboks beat the All Blacks yesterday in a rugby match, in a rugby test match. And for those of you living in New Zealand, sorry for you. We'll take our 1 out of 12. Okay, please do talk to us using the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter and, of course, the chat stream on YouTube. We did just have some nyalas coming running past us, but one of them got a fright from something and then they all ran away. Carol, the wild dog pack hierarchy works relatively simply. There is an alpha male and an alpha female, and the two of them are the only pair that breeds, normally. The rest of the pack has a dominance hierarchy, so it's a very stratified society, but it's not nearly as violently imposed or enforced as it would be, say, in a hyena clan. And unlike a hyena clan, of course, not all of the females will breed. Only the alpha pair will breed. Sometimes the beta pair will breed, but often those pups are either starved to death or then adopted by the alpha. So it depends on the size of the pack. The alpha male or alpha female will normally, Senzo just tripped over a log, will normally lead the pack on the hunt. And that's basically how it works. It's really pretty simple. It's just exactly like a wolf pack. All right, we're going to head down through here, and we'll see if we can't pick up maybe on some tracks of Tingana or Tandi and Tlalamba. We'll see. In the meantime, let us go back to the action occurring at Vuyatela Dam.
So now I've just realized that these wild dogs, they are starting with their hunting activities. I can see how they're positioning and how they're looking at the bush here, that now they want something to eat. So they're disappearing much more towards the eastern side of the game reserve. Maybe they might find something much more towards the Treehouse Dam or Twins Dam. So I'm just going to keep following and see what they are going to have. But now I can see they are on a hunting mode. You can see that they are moving and they are listening and checking. So it's very much interesting how the wild dogs hunt, because they are not that very careful. To me, they are very much negligent. They are unlike the leopards, which are normally approach the animals very close. The wild dogs, they are just running and making noises everywhere. So now let's go to Brent, who is just driving at the moment, and see what he's looking for.
Well, as you're coming to me, we found some hyenas from the Olololo clan, and they have got a piece of meat. But they are looking a little bit nervy. Well, one has, well, no, this one's got a bigger piece of meat here. What if, probably, I'm not sure what they caught here. Looks like a fairly sizable carcass. And they're probably quite nervous because we're not far from the North Clan boundary. So we left the two little boys having a snooze, and 3 of the 4 hyenas are deciding to move off. One is taking its opportunity to munch upon that carcass. Yum, 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 yum. Unlikely to be a wildebeest. Wildebeest haven't really come up this far this year. Could be a topi, could be a zebra. There's always a chance it could be one lone wildebeest who wandered away. Could be a kill from lions. That's why they could also be nervous. And I think most likely nerves from being a little bit close to North Clan territory. Yeah, out of here. I don't want to be by myself. What if North Clan comes and I'm by myself? Wait for me. So I've left quite a lot of meat on there. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, just go. You see them running off over there? Oh no, it disappeared now. Heads popping up of the long grass. You can see some zebra in the distance. Now I'm just looking to see if maybe there's lions or something that's got them interested. Just the way they're behaving. Heads up. Can just long way left are the ones I'm watching. Keep coming. And that one's got a piece it's taking with us. Takeaways. Keep coming. Long way left. Long way opposite those green bushes there next to me. Yeah. Now beyond there, that's where the heads are popping. A little bit to the right. A little bit more. Head's gone down, but the way they were popping the heads, but the fact that one's taking that meat in that direction, there we go. See, that they do look like they're a bit nervous about something. See, let's go. I want to go a bit further forward. They definitely are looking down this way. Oh, there's another hyena popping up. There, is that a lion? Okay, you see this hyena closest to us, directly behind it. It looks like there's another set of ears. So just keep going past this hyena. No, left, past. But no, right. So where that hyena is, go past it. It's another hyena. Okay, we're going to send you back to Sydney with the dogs on the move.
I have just seen a very interesting action just now. One of the dogs managed to isolate one of the impalas, was on a chase, but the other dogs are still behind these impalas. This was a very big head of the impala, and the other ones crossed already, trying to run away from danger. But I'm waiting to see if the other wild dogs are going to try to ambush any of these impalas right in front of us. So that was too close. Unexpectedly, one of the wild dogs came running after the impalas. Then it was just one wild dog. It seems like the adults are the only ones who are hunting at the moment, because the one that I saw just now, it was just one individual. So the rest of the adults are staying behind with the little ones, and I can't see them from here where I am. I'm just going to try and move forward so that I can see if we can be able to see them from this distance. I can see now there's one wild dog going back right here. There. I can see that one adult is going back now, and the impalas are also running away this side. You can see there. So he's now going after them. He's going after the impalas now. Now I can't see him anymore. So this is the wild dogs who tried his luck on one of the impalas just now. So but I saw now that he is still interested. But I can't see him anymore. So I just want to try and see maybe where those impalas ran towards is where they might be going. So this dog was not sure if some other impalas are still remaining here. He was surprised to see them, and he wanted to take a chance again. So now let's go back to James on a bushwalk and see he is having a lovely bush sunrise.
We're having a beautiful sunrise here, and it's a red sunrise. Well, it was red, it's now l'orange, and it's l'orange because, of course, there is quite a lot of cloud in the air and quite a lot of dust. The dust thrown up into the air by a southeasterly breeze. There seems to be a little bit of a cold front coming through this morning, which is wonderful after the heat of yesterday. What tends to happen at this time of the year is that the heat builds over 3 or 4 days, and you have an afternoon of 35 and 36 and 37, and then it kind of breaks and you have a day like this, or 2 or 3 days like this. And that tends to be what happens. Might get a little spit of rain now and then, but mostly it's just a bit of cloud, and then it goes away again to be replaced by the heat as we wait for the first rains, which will probably not come for the next 60 days or so. And many of you are saying that this is very gorgeous. Well, one would hope so. The sunrise in Africa is generally gorgeous when you can see it. And of course, it is one of the great pleasures of living out here. A lot of people say to me, how do you manage to get out of bed so early every day? Well, apart from the fact that one goes to bed early every evening, which makes getting up that much easier, well, that's a very good reason to get up every single day, and we see the reverse every single evening. There are not many people who have a job that allows them to do that, of course, unless they happen to be in the traffic very early and very late, which is no fun at all. Amanda, we're talking about wild dogs, of course, because they are the heroes of the day and the focus of the last few days. Wild dog puppies, normally, or up to 14, I think, sort of an average of between 8 and 12, though. You can almost rest assured that those 6 pups that are in that pack that Sydney's with now were not the only 6 that were born. It's almost certain that the pack has lost a few pups during the course of the last 3 months or so. And that's perfectly normal. I mean, it doesn't make it any less sad, but yes, it can be. Taylor apparently said only one has been lost so far. I'm not sure how anybody knows that accurately, because I don't think anybody knew where that den was to start with. And so, you know, I would be surprised if there were only 7 to start with. I suspect once they were found, you know, most of them will be, or the ones that are lost will be lost very early on, almost probably before anyone can find the den. And the den was in an area where there were not a lot of people. Skubert, Carol, yes, is under some threat at the moment. Skubert really could not be in a worse position. He is currently surrounded by hyenas, wild dogs and a leopard. All of them will eat him if they get the chance. I fear greatly for Skubert, and his 26% chance of making to the 40-day fledging period not looking great at this stage, and I will be devastated if young Scooby bites it, as it were. But I'm hoping that that is not going to happen. If one of those puppies gets hold of Skubert, I shall be deeply, deeply dissatisfied.
Now you can see that I managed to reallocate them, and one of the babies got a bone on his mouth. But it's an old bone, not a fresh bone. So these wild dogs, they are hunting now towards the drainage line. So there's only a few left out this side. So I'm just going to try and pull forward so that we can see if we can have a better sighting. So it seems like while the other one was trying to chase, the other wild dogs were also doing their hunting activities this side. Linda, the wild dogs, the chances of losing the prey is very high every time. They do hunt, and not every time they are successful. Like now, I saw one of them was right in the middle of the impala, but they have lost because it seems like they don't have a specific target. They just try to chase everyone at the same time. And that is what is causing them not to catch these animals. So, Bobby, that is what I have seen this. What I have seen this morning, Bobby, is that the impalas managed to outrun the wild dogs. But I think that is determined by who spotted who first. If the wild dogs are hunting the impalas and impalas are not aware of the wild dogs in the area, the chances of the impalas to get caught are very high. But if the impalas sees the wild dogs before, that is when the wild dogs are not going to win, simply because they will run first. You can see that so you can see that now the little ones, they are running right at the back, and then the big ones, they are targeting the prey right in front. This is quite a very interesting hunt. So the babies are still playing, whereas the adults are getting some food, trying to get some food. Now this is lovely. Look at that. So I'm just going to try and follow them again and see if we can meet them again at much more towards the treehouse dam area. So these wild dogs, they are moving very fast. So I'm going to have to be very fast now, because otherwise I'm going to lose them, or I might miss any of the interesting action right in front. Oh, here they are. Good morning, all stations. This is Sydney. I've got the wild dogs. They have just gone past Filmers Deep. This is quite a lot because they've got some babies as well. Not too sure of the exact number. Positive, but they are moving very fast. So it means I'm going to have to try this road, because otherwise here I can see they are moving much more this side. A very, very good morning and welcome to the beginning of the special broadcast. My name is Sydney. I am with VM, who is my camera operator this morning. We are here by the Greater Kruger National Park, the Juma Game Reserve. We are just now by the eastern side of the Juma Game Reserve, and I've got one of the very much interesting predator. You can see there I have got the wild dogs, and these wild dogs at this stage, they are conducting some hunting activities, and now I can see that they are trying to investigate something here by one of the dens. I'm not too sure if it's the hyena den or if some of the species are staying in there. That den probably might have been dug by the artifact, and that is the termite mound. These artifacts, they just dig and leave the hole unattended, and suddenly other animals, they come there and use that as a timeshare. So these wild dogs, they are now right on a hunt, and they have been trying to catch one of the impalas a few minutes ago, and now I can see that they are still investigating, trying to find something to eat this morning. It is quite a very big family. This is a very big pack. You can see it's consisted of the few adults together with quite a lot of little ones. About 6 little ones are here. Lori, the wild dogs puppies, yes, they do play like the domestic dogs puppies, but here by the wild dogs, it's much more interesting because you just see them everywhere, and it's quite a lot of them. Let's see now what this one is trying to have. I think that is one of the old bones, and this bone is telling me that that hole we have just seen now maybe is a hole probably which was used by one of the hyenas, because evidence such as bones from the old dead animals is the stuff that got brought here by the hyenas. You can see those ones as well are also trying to eat something. So they are trying to eat the old bones that are just lying around this termite mound. Look now, all the little ones are coming together again. These dogs are beautiful. Salis, these dogs are beautiful indeed. So now look at that. They are now busy there trying to eat. So it means these little ones might be very hungry. That's why the old ones are trying to hunt. And the combination they have got with the little ones is interesting. Little ones don't interfere at all during these hunting activities. The old ones is the ones that are going first, whereas the little ones are at the back still playing with some of the old family members, trying to give them instructions not to interfere. Because I can see some of the old ones, when the little ones are trying to get out of hand, they come there very quickly and intervene. You can see that the little ones, they also got the white tips of their tails, which helps them as follow me signs when they are running away from danger or when they are doing their hunting activities. Look at that. This is quite a very beautiful dog. Magnificent. Look at the big ears, round ears. They can hear very well. So Cody, I didn't copy your questions very well. If you can repeat that for me. We are right now looking at the puppies. The adults, they have just gone towards the southern direction of the game reserve, trying to get something for these puppies to eat. You can see that these puppies, they got their own activities, whereas the adults are doing what they're supposed to do, which is hunting, gathering food for these puppies to eat. Hyenas, as well as the wild dogs, can be very much interesting because they can go out for feeding, and coming back they can be able to regurgitate the food they have taken in order to give their puppies to eat. But right here in front of me, I can see there's one adult not very far here trying to look at these puppies playing. I think this is the adults responsible in order to give these puppies manners not to intervene on these hunting activities. Rakesh, you are just now reminding me of one of the very interesting experience I had with the wild dogs. At one stage, by my previous employer, it was early in the morning at about 6:30. There were some other freely roaming wild dogs, and they tried to tease one of my colleagues. They can be very dangerous, but they did not chase him. They just came and charged him and passed by. They don't really go after humans. Animals still have got a natural human fear. What caused the animals to turn and become aggressive towards the human beings is when there's quite a lot of hunting activities. That is when animals start to associate the human beings with the killings. But if there are no hunting activities, animals, they will just be normal. So now I'm just going to drive further and see if we can have a beautiful sighting. And let me say thank you very, very much for all your questions and comments. It has been a very interesting sighting of these wild dogs trying to hunt something for the morning. I am going to go back to the normal game drive now. A very good morning again, and I am back now on a normal game drive, still after the wild dogs who are now trying to do some hunting activities. It's gonna be difficult for me to pass here. I'm just trying to navigate so that I can be able to fit myself and my camera operator. So there is a big branch which is blocking the road. So now let's go to Brent by the Masai Mara and see how his search is going.
Well, welcome, and you've come at the most ideal time because we found the girls I was looking for, the Mogoro females. Well, 2 of them at least. I'm sure the third's not too far off. Hi, girls. Lots of wildebeest about. Gonna go catch one for us? There's an impala alarm calling behind us. I wonder what could be there. Oh, there are beautiful big girls. I mean, see, she's going to walk right next to us now. Hello, big girl. Isn't this awesome? Hello, big girl. See, she is asking, are Mara lions bigger than South African lions? Maybe stockier, and like always, you have exceptions to the rule, but I'd probably say on average they've got a couple of kilos on the South African lions. And that's just because of the amount of food they generally have. I can hear impala snorting. Let's go have a look. Just going to reverse back. What you see? I don't think the impala are snorting at these girls. Hello, big lady. She is heading towards the wildly beasts at the moment. There we go. She's also heading. She's even heading towards where that impala alarm call is coming from. Carol, no, she's not acknowledging my presence. These lions are very used to vehicles. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around. There's another one coming behind us, but we want to be at the front of all the vehicles that have now spotted me. It looks like she might lie down though. Just having a sniff at something there. And you can see the balloons in the background over the wildebeest. Here comes the second lioness in to greet. Hi, got you. That other female is still concentrating on the impala alarm calls that are up ahead. So I don't know if that could be the third lioness, it could be Scar, it could be one of the other musketeers, it could be a leopard, it could be another pride of lions moving in. So the female that's missing at the moment is the one with the missing tip to her tail and that bare patch of skin on her cheek. The oldest of them, the one who's got all the broken teeth. Where are my binoculars? I had them a second ago. Oh. Just going to jump, playing again. I want to see if those impala are looking this way. No, the impala are not looking this way. Quickly across to James.
Everybody, there is a honey badger over there, spotted by Rexon. Look, it doesn't know we're here, I don't think. How amazing is this? I was going to tell you about a plant which wasn't going to be nearly as interesting as this magnificent little honey badger foraging at the base of that tree, trying to dig out some hapless insect or other. Let's take 2 steps forward. Now, when you see a honey badger like this, of course, your instinct is to cover your sensitive region, because, of course, if that thing takes displeasure at you, that's what it's going to go for first. Now it's seen us. Doesn't care. Doesn't care at all. This is fantastic. This is unbelievable. I've never seen a honey badger on foot for any length of time. How cool is that? It's still digging there. Let's take a few steps closer. Watch the log there, Sins. Oh, Yvette, yes. Honey badgers are deeply ferocious. They are not to be trifled with. Is it still there? Ah, I can see the movement now. Yvette, they are known. Ooh. If you watch, or if you YouTube videos of honey badgers, you'll see them seeing off entire prides of lions. There's a one doing the rounds at the moment of a honey badger seeing off a leopard that grabs it, and you swear that this thing's going to be killed by the leopard, but it puts it off. That is an amazing sighting, everybody. That really is very special. See him trundling off there. Don't think we'll see him again. Let's carry on going this way. Rebecca, it depends on what you consider brave. I mean, they're brave, absolutely, in that they can afford to have a box with prospective predators because, you know, they're designed to do that. They've got very loose skin, very thick, loose skin, which means that if a predator grabs them, it's very difficult for the predator to actually get into any of the vital organs. They're extremely strong. They've got nasty smelling glands that make them distasteful to many things. And so, yes, I suppose because they're equipped with all of that, they are quite brave. But there's nothing to say that an impala is less brave. I mean, an impala, were it to adopt the same approach to predators that a honey badger does, would just die. So, you know, from a human perspective, I suppose you could say that they do seem to be slightly more courageous than others. We're just going to walk up to this termite mound and see if we can't get another view. So leopards will try and hunt a badger dory, but the chances of them catching it and actually managing to eat it are very small indeed. Wild dogs, I think, would steer clear. Those little puppies would be very interested in it, I'm sure. I think it's scuttled off. Scuttling is the wrong word. They don't scuttle, they tank. Yes, Alyssa, we have seen honey badgers on SafariLive before. Never for very long. But we had a wonderful sighting a little while back. About 45 minutes from the vehicle. Come up here, Sims. We might get a view. I think I probably should have been a little bit more patient and just waited rather than trying to get slightly closer. That was unbelievable. It's always so much more special when you see these things on foot. He's around here somewhere, but I'm not sure exactly where. All right, well, let's go back to Sidders. He, of course, is with those little pups, and I think they'd be well advised to stay away from a honey badger.
You can see that the wild dogs, they are not yet successful in terms of their hunting activities. They are now just by the treehouse dam, and they are on top of the dam wall. The adults are scanning the area, trying to check if they can find something to eat, and the little ones has been playing, but one of them is right here at the bottom by the dam, looking at the water. It seems like they are interested, or he is interested, on a terrapin that was moving earlier on there. So I can see that the other vehicles are also approaching in the area. Don't get surprised, I am not alone at this sighting. These other vehicles as well having a sighting. So you can see that the ones who are responsible to lead, they are now starting to lead the group. I haven't seen the new puppies so far. As I indicated earlier, this is my first wild dog sighting here in Djuma Game Reserve. And before that, I've only seen the fully grown little ones as well as the adults. I am not yet lucky with the newborns. Look at that. The arrangements of these wild dogs when running away with the tails shining like a torch is interesting. See, they just run towards all the different directions. It's confusing how they're running. So I'm just going to also reallocate here and keep following and see if the hunt is going to be successful this morning. I will now be heading much more towards the eastern side of the game reserve. And now I can see they are now heading towards the border. But while I'm doing that, let's go to Brent in the Masai Mara, who is also looking for some of the interesting animals at the moment.
Oh, we're still with the Magoro lionesses. One, I think, is already flopped down in the shade of a croton thicket, and it looks like this one's about to do the same. She is moving towards hippo pools. They do like this area. They like to lie in the shade around here as well. Now, I'm just trying to get us in a good spot. She has moved into the non-off-roading zone. But fortunately, it's quite a narrow section here between the river and the road. Michael is asking, what is the history of the Magoro Pride? Michael, I'm not sure. All I know is there are 3 females. There were 3 females when I arrived, and there are still 3 females that haven't had cubs. Even though we see them mating frequently with the musketeers, they haven't had cubs, and I'm pretty sure they're a break-off of another pride. Which pride? I have no idea, because it happened before we arrived. But anyway, she looks like she's happy in the shade there. And the second lioness is somewhere in the background. Now, this area is definitely going to be an area to hang out later in the day, because the wildebeest will move down towards the river to have a drink. And that's one of the Magoro's main tactics. They lie around these croton thickets on the edge of the river and wait for prey to come to them. So I'm not sure, as I say, what did you see? Oh, there's a second lioness. She's popped out, or maybe even a third. Let's just have a look if we can see if she's got a tail. Missing tail tip. No, she's not the old one. It's the second lioness we were following earlier. Looks like she might just flop down there. No, not yet. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to get up ahead of her. But I do think she's going to go into those thickets. Now, hippo pools is a spot where people can get out of the car and go to the toilet, although I think today is not a good day to use that bathroom. What I will do is let the rangers know that there are lions sleeping next to the bathrooms. And there's the third old girl coming out of the bush as well at the back, next to that far back car. Let's just go back a bit. So all 3 of them are here. Now, of course, when you're looking for Scar or the musketeers, it's always good to have a look around the Magoros. Here's the old girl coming at the back, and you can see lots of wildebeest around. As you can see, there we go. This one's just... So the bathroom is right here. So there's a little bathroom over there. You can't see it, it's just to the right behind the bushes. So that's the ranger's hut where he sits during high season to take guests to look at the hippos. But today might not be a good day to go walk down through the croton thickets, because here she comes towards... Oh, she's coming towards us. He might move past. Oh, hello, Mrs. Grumpy. Mrs. Grumpy would like to know if a pride splits up, do they ever join up again after a few years? Well, after a year or so, they actually will fight. So it's very unlikely that they will join up and rejoin the pride. Sometimes on big carcasses, they will feed together off a big carcass. Most obvious one I can think of in the last couple of years was the Nkahuma pride and the Talamati pride sharing a giraffe carcass, but there was still quite a lot of aggression around that carcass. Okay. We can't decide what we want to do. We're sniffing. Sniff, 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 sniff. She's going to go use the loo. Karen is asking, how successful can a pride of this size be when they have cubs? Oh, they can be very successful. I mean, I would not say the Magoro pride is an unsuccessful pride. They kill often. They hold prime territory here along the river. I'm literally going straight to the bathroom now. I'm just going to go forward a bit. We'll go as far forward as we can. So we'll see. We can't go much further forward than this. And you'll just see the roof of the bathroom sticking out over there. And she's going straight for it. There she is there. So I'm just going to... Okay, well, let's see where these lines go. I can't actually move any further. But in the meantime, let's send you back to James on Bushwalk.
The light has not picked up a huge amount since we started, so it's still fairly dim out here, but that's quite pleasant. Over here we have what might just look like a stick sticking out of the ground, and that is because it is a stick sticking out of the ground. It's been destroyed many times over by various creatures, but what is very clever about this particular stick is that it does not need leaves in order to produce food, and that is one of the brilliance, or the brilliances, the brilliant things about Balanites mogami, or the torchwood, also known as the green thorn. And there are a few plants in the world that can do this. There are quite a few, actually. But this one is particularly good at it. If you look at the stem, it's green. And that means that the cells in the stem and in the bark, in the outer bark, are filled with chlorophyll. And that means that the stems can produce sugars through photosynthesis in the way that most plants can only do with their leaves. So obviously most plants have got a totally grey bark and grey twigs, and they leave the photosynthetic part of the work of the plant to the leaves. Well, this very clever plant can make sugars without leaves. And you can see especially on this stem here, it's completely green, which I think is very clever. Means it doesn't waste all that surface area. Anyway, that is the small thing that we have to show you over here. That is Balanites mogami, the green thorn, otherwise also known as the Brent falling out of the tree. Wasn't this one that he fell out of. This one's a bit small for him to have fallen out of. Very good. Okay, let's continue. Dory, you say, what do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? You say you call it a stick. That's very good, Dory. Let's test your theory there. That was me being crowned by Senzo and his aerial. Okay, here's the stick. We see if it comes back. On we go. I've got concussion now. As soon as we go off air, I'm going to set to Senzo with my stick. I'm going to beat him. But for now, I'll be polite. JJ, you say, is this poor man ever going on leave? I hope you're not referring to Senzo, because I don't consider him a poor man at all right now. Yes, I am going on leave tomorrow, actually. I'm going on leave until December 2019. So I'll see you all back then. All right, let's go back to Sydney and his hounds.
You can see now that the dogs are right here by me, nice and very closed, though the little ones are on the other side of the dry riverbed. So these ones that we are seeing here with me now are the ones who are responsible for this hunt this morning. So they are leading in front, trying to get something for the little ones to eat. So there's quite a lot of adults. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've counted 4 adults so far. And earlier on at the dam, in total, I have just counted about 10 wild dogs. Oh, look at this one. It's trying to scratch on the ground. Oh, maybe this one has got some ticks. Yes, you can see when it's doing that, it means it does have some of the ticks as well. So I'm sure by doing this, they also leave some of the glands here on the ground. I can hear the hyenas calling as well from the eastern side of the game reserve, but the sound is still very far. But the wind is favoring the wild dogs at the moment. Maybe some other hyenas again might interact with this pack of wild dogs this morning. So these dogs were drinking at the Vuyotela pen, and again they were drinking right here by the tree house dam. That shows you that they are running a lot, trying to catch something, and they're getting thirsty very quickly. So because it is not a very long distance from Vuyotela pen to the tree house dam. But the weather is on their favor because it is overcast. I'm just going to try now and reallocate so that we can see them nicely. So Elisa, I have just lost your question. If you can repeat that for me while I am now trying to find a better spot. So Elisa, in terms of the centimeters and the length, I am not too sure how exactly the wild dogs are that very high. I don't think they are very high. Not too sure about their height. Yeah, by looking at this height, they look much more smaller than the domestic dogs. Some of the domestic dogs, they can grow very big. Oh, there's a little bit of a space where we can be able to view the little ones on the other side. You you can see that now the hunting activities are becoming less. They are not running around a lot. They are much more settled. It is very much interesting to see how the wild dogs contain their babies when they are doing the hunting activities. It's unlike the lions. I've once been on a lion hunt where the little ones spoiled the chances of the adults to catch. But here, you can see there's always one individual, old individual, together with the puppies, trying to gather them together to avoid them from intervening on these hunting activities. That's amazing. And that is good for the safety of the puppies as well. So I can see now that the sighting has just disappeared. I think the survival rate of the wild dog pups, they are very high. Why? Because they are born with the eyes closed and everything has to develop. It's unlike the hyenas, whereby when they are born, already they got tooth, they can see, and they've got to fight for dominance while they are still very young, and the chances of the little ones to survive are very much low. But here, because everything is closed, there's not much competition on the little ones when they are still very young. So I'm just going to try and move around here to see if we can see them again much better. And if the sighting is gone, I've got to go back and see if I can find Hosanna this morning. So they just got disappeared by the other side of the dry riverbed. So there are no animals I'm seeing here at the moment, so I don't think they will be able to chase anything at the moment. So, but I'm just gonna go down here and see if we can find them again. Tandy used to like these areas a lot where we are. She used to be here a lot during the day and late afternoons, but now she's avoiding it. So this is the area consisted of quite a lot of So now we are going to one of the new presenters with James. I'm not sure if it's an interview, by the name of Xoli. Let's see how Xoli does the presenting.
Good morning, beautiful people. My name is Xoli. My surname is Xlo. Welcome to SafariLive. It's my first time live, and I'm going to be telling you about one of my favorite tree, which is the marula tree. The interesting part about this tree is that this tree, it seems like it's been debarked by an elephant using its tusk. We can see there's no bark on this patch, but this tree is still alive. What makes this tree to be alive is that the veins of this tree are still intact. The veins, I'm talking about the phloem and the xylem. The phloem is what transports, it's the vein that transports the sugar from the leaves to the roots. Then the xylem is the vein that transports water and minerals and nutrients from the roots to the leaves. And the combination of these veins is called a cambium. A cambium is what is protected by this, what we see outside, which is called a bark. The interesting thing about the bark of this tree, in my tradition, we also use it for medicinal uses. You can harvest the bark and just boil it, and then you take the infusions, you drink the infusions, and don't drink the infusions while they are still hot. You have to wait for the infusions to get cold. Okay, let's quickly move forward and see what else we can find. Thank you. Let's quickly go to Sydney and sit and see what he has for us with the wild dogs.
I am very sure that you have enjoyed the medicinal uses of the marula tree with the presentation from Toli. I am still here now with the wild dogs. I can see the energy the wild dogs had since the beginning of this morning is now getting finished. They are now very relaxed, all lying down. So the wild dogs are not like Hosanna and the other cats, because these birds such as francolins, when they come nearby, they don't mind them. But the cats such as Hosanna, when they are coming, they are interested to catch. So you can see now that these wild dogs, they are lying on the ground, and only this big one is now trying to walk around. So the little ones are all together now to try and generate more heat, because the weather is cold a little bit. You can see they are all down now. So you can see now those two adults are close to each other in order to warm each other. So now let's go to Brent by the Masai Mara, who is just driving, and see what his driving is going to bring us this morning.
Hi, sorry, there's some topi staring into this long grass here, and the male lions that were chased by the buffalo and stole the kill from the Mogoro ladies yesterday were in this general area. So I've just heard male lions roaring though. Unfortunately, it's sounded very much on the other side of the river, opposite hippo pools, and this is the only spot where we can get a gap to check the opposite bank from this distance. I can't really see anything. You see that gap in the trees there, James? They are there. So those lions sounded like they were in that clearing or on the edge of that clearing somewhere. Unfortunately, it is quite a long way away from where we are. Okay, I'm going to keep checking. Now, as I say, those topi are staring into this long grass, and we know where all the three Mogoros are. So there could easily be a male around. Finally starting to warm up a little bit in the Mara. It's still quite chilly. There's a problem that Juma definitely doesn't have at the moment. Unfortunately, with this long grass, it often pays to get up high like this so you can see, because with the male lions, often you just see the top of their heads. What is that now? It is a bush that looks like lion ears. Is it? Yes, it is indeed a bush. Unfortunately, just a little scraggly bush that looked like a set of ears. Okay. Well, we're going to do our little skedaddle past the crossings. See if we have any luck. Daniel is asking, are lions attracted to wild catnip? Well, as far as I know, Daniel, there's no wild catnip growing in Africa. They are attracted to certain smells and plants that they'll roll in on occasion, but not really often. Leopards seem to be far more attracted to certain plants and smells, and they'll roll in them and play in them. But lions seem to be less affected. So I'm just gonna pop down a road we don't often go down. So it just goes to a little picnic spot where people are allowed to have breakfast or lunch, but it's in the area where those topi are staring. Hello, Rima. Rima is wondering, do wild dog packs split like lion packs? No, they don't. They do and they don't. They do split, but the way they split is completely different to to lions. So wild dogs, you'll normally have 1 or 2 members, sometimes even 3 or 4 if the pack's very big, members of the same sex, and they will split away from the pack, and they have to actually find another split of 1 or 2 females, for example, so another set of dogs of the same sex that have split away from their natal pack, and they'll form a new pack. Now, quite interestingly, often those packs don't last and don't survive. So what happens when a new wild dog pack is formed, you can tell how successful they're going to be almost immediately by the proximity that they lie together. So if they're a new pack, they're a recently formed pack, and they all lie on top of each other, there's about an 85-90% chance that that pack will go on to be a successful pack and they're bonded. If they lie a little bit apart from each other, not sort of in a big dog pile, then there's a very, very good chance, sort of another 80%, 85% chance that that pack will then split again. They'll go try to find other individuals that they like more. Now, wild dog packs, when they meet, they can be quite aggressive. They can actually seriously attack each other as well, but they don't meet that often. So for me, a lot of the social interactions with your canid species, with your dogs and jackals and the like, are often more complicated and more complex, the social hierarchies and interactions, than they are with the big cats. And wild dogs having one of the most complex social behaviors, social interactions of any of the animals. Of course, hyenas even more so, even though they are not a canid. So I can't see anything here. Not sure what the topies we're looking at, but it's quite a nice spot to look at the Mara River. Now, see, if I was a Gnormless Gnu, this is where I would cross the river. I mean, I can walk across here. Look at this. Look at this. If I was a Gnormless Gnu, this is where I'd cross the Mara River. It is ankle deep, possibly knee deep at the deepest. But alas, I am not a Gnormless Gnu. And you could jump through the deep part, and there's almost zero chance a crocodile could get you. There, this is where I'd cross. I'd come down here, I'd go, and I'd go along that little ridge, that one, and then I'd do a 1-2 across onto the island, and then there's a tiny little stream on the other side. It's very pretty. Let me just have a quick look up here, see if we've got any birds here while I'm here. You can hear a lapwing. It sounds like a spur-wing lapwing, but I can't see it. Alas. Okay. Sorry, Nix, could you send that question through again? I was waffling. Bobby is wondering if the pups develop their hierarchy now, will it remain the same? Unless they leave the pack, yes. So, as a general rule, only the alpha pair of wild dogs will will breed. However, there have been a few cases where one case where alpha, a beta, and a gamma female all produced pups, and the alpha didn't kill the beta and gamma female's pups. Normally, when a beta female produces pups, the alpha female will kill the puppies. Now, wild dog social structure and hierarchy is very interesting. So, outside of the alpha pair, the rest, the beta, gamma, delta, all the rest of the pack, almost their whole drive is to look after those puppies. So they will regurgitate for those puppies. They'll babysit those puppies. So it is absolutely fascinating. It's one of the only animals in the world where the young have a higher social standing when they're babies than they do as adults. So as they become adults, their social standing actually drops. So it is absolutely fascinating, and the pack's drive is to take care of the puppies. I won't lie. This is my last week in the Mara at the moment. I'm quite excited to get back to the Sabi Sands and to the Lowveld and spend some time with my favorite animals. Get my racing gloves out to keep up with them. I've been quite lucky in all the time that I've spent with wild dogs over the years, and I look forward to spending many more hours with wild dogs in the years to come. And while I continue my mission around the crossings, no, it's not a line, let's send you back to Ollie on foot.
Thank you, Brent. While I was walking, I just got reminded of home because of this buffalo dung. Ndebele people use this dung, but not the buffalo dung. It's more related to the cow dung. We use this around December time when we have the traditional ceremonies. What we do is we collect the fresh cattle dung, we mix it with water, and then you make a paste or a polish out of it. What we do is we polish the floor using the mixture of water and this dung. What will come up will be something like this. And this can last for a week or two if there's no much human activity in the yard. Okay, let's move forward and see what we can find. There's a termite mound. It's right straight to me. Yes. Thank you, Laura. This buffalo dung is very fresh. It's very fresh, and I can even smell it. It's smelling very, very grassy. Thank you. Let's quickly go to Sydney and see what he has for us.
I am still here with the wild dogs, and I can see now they are enjoying some sleep. So all the puppies are together trying to generate the body heat very close to each other. So, but what I'm going to do now is to leave the sighting, as there's not much activities taking place, back to the Viola pen area in order to see if I can find Hosanna, as we left him up by one of the marula trees this morning. So I'm just going to go back to the very same marula tree and get his tracks and see if we can track him down. So he's got two different meals there. We're going to check first where I left him yesterday and where the other meal is. Hopefully, we're going to find him. The wild dogs, when they're hunting, like this pack is consisted of the adults together with the babies. and one of the adults or two, you will see them containing the little ones to avoid them from interacting with the hunting activities, as they might get some injuries, whereas the old ones are the ones who will be then chasing their prey. But when chasing prey, it's interesting, these animals don't have a specific target. They just target everything at the same time, which sometimes spoils the chances of them to catch something, as the animals, they don't get easily tired if they're just chasing everything at the same time. But if they target just one individual until he or she gets tired, is when they will be able to catch. So that happened this morning. I saw one wild dog manage to single out one impala, but then he lost interest, and after that he decided to chase a different one. Sydney, I'm standing by, said. Okay, copy that. I'm coming there now. Just repeat the log. So now I've just been updated that Tingana, one of the lovely kids for a while, just caught something somewhere in the area. I'm going first to see if we can see Tingana, and after that is then that I will go and see Hosanna afterwards. So now let's go back to Brand in the Mara and see what Brand is having at the moment, while I'm going to see my favorite leopard, Tingana.
Okay, well, we're just pottering along down towards main crossings at the moment, keeping an eye out for any male lions, the musketeers. Oh, we got some... Hello. Wildies look like they're heading towards main north. They've got the migration jog on. Okay, let's rush down to the crossing. Maybe not just rush yet, but I think, yeah, they look like they're going to cross. There's a long line of them going down. Hold on. Probably about 100 or so Wildies. Now, we haven't seen many crossings at Main North this year. Oh my goodness, we're going to be so spoiled. Looks like we might be the only ones on this side of the river. Let's just have a look here. This is the front of them. Myrna, the migration is certainly not over just yet. Okay, well, we're not going to rush too quickly because this is the front of the wildebeest here. And they are moving. Straight down, there's Topi in amongst them as well. Or maybe a few more than 100. But as we've learned with our patience at the crossings, oh, you've got to have proper patience. There's some zebra on the other side, but they're a bit far away. I think these guys are definitely looking like the most likely. So there's a Thompson's gazelle ahead. When they get to that Thompson's gazelle, I'm going to move down to the river. So the one problem is with Main North is you can't actually see them from our side of the river as they make their way towards. You can only see them once they start plunging. So that Thompson's gazelle up ahead is my marker point for when I'm going to move forward. Is it a Thompson's? Yes, it is a Thompson's. And once they that, well, there's two Thompsons. The second Thompsons is my marker point. And then we will go down to the river's edge. Now, we haven't seen much of this behavior from the wildebeest this year around this area. As crossings go, it's probably the best time. The river's quite low. But as I said, if I was a canoe, enormous canoe, I would have crossed where I was earlier, where I could barely get my ankles wet. And there we go, the traditional stop-start. Jonathan is wondering, do topi migrate with the wildebeest? No, they're resident, but they do cross the river regularly. Okay, there's the wildebeest are heading towards the Thompsons. How close are we? How close are we? We're getting towards the Thompsons. Now, I've lost sight of the second. There we go. Second Thompsons has been reached. That is our marker to head down to the river. Now this doesn't mean they're going to cross. They might walk right to the water's edge and then come back. So this does not mean they are going to cross by any means. Now, Main North is quite a rocky crossing, and less crocodiles in it than Main South, Dusty, and Cul-de-sac. It's actually the best place to see, which is sort of counterintuitive, is further away, because you can sort of get your head around the corner a bit more. So it is one of those challenging ones where you don't know they're crossing till they're actually crossing. So as you can see, so Main North is there. So where they enter the water is behind this little croton bush. Well, croton, I say little bush. Let me say impenetrable croton thicket is probably a better description. But it could be a while. So there's still about 50 or 60, no, even 100 meters from our Thompson's gazelle marker to the water's edge. Now, if they do get whacked by crocodiles here, it's generally if they sort of stumble and get stuck in the rapids. And Carol 6 is spot on. It is indeed time to put our patience pants on. Oh, look, next to us here, Mr. Mariti. In the river next to us, I didn't even notice that till right now. There is a drowning victim. Now, there have been very few drowning victims this year. As I say, some hippos about in the river as well. Nicola, you might want to prep an action broadcast for us there. I think we're still a while from getting our interweb friends to join us, but it might be worth having in the back pocket. Okay, so I'm gonna sit up, see if I can see a bit more. So some have stopped now. As I say, you never know, and this for me is one of the more difficult ones because you just can't see. It's always a good idea to to watch the vehicles on the other side. And as soon as you see large lenses being flung around at high speed on the opposite side of the river, it means that the wildebeest are getting close. So I see some of them seem to be deciding not Reptilian Research is asking how fresh do I think that carcass in the river is. I'd say it's probably from yesterday. And speaking of reptilians, Reptilian Research, there's a reptile right in front of me, quite a large one. You see it in the river there. Waiting for a poor wildebeest to come stumbling down the rapids. What a big croc. Not seeing any. There are a few other smaller crocs around, but that's the biggest one I can see at the moment. I say they could cross in 2 minutes. They could cross in 2 hours. Wisteria is wondering why no animals have gone after that carcass. It could be the case that every time the crocs go near it, the hippos chase them. That happens from time to time. And there are some hippos around quite close to that carcass. So there's some hippos just over there. And sometimes the hippos just decide to be difficult and not let the crocs near a carcass. But below the surface of the water, there will be plenty of animals already taking advantage of that carcass. I'm going to guess there's all sorts of barbs, labeas, and possibly, definitely the odd catfish or three. Okay, well, I'm going to play the patience game in my patience pants. So while I do that, let's send you back across to Sydney.
I am right here by the sighting of Tingana. I managed to see Tingana. Now Tingana is very relaxed under the tree. I can even see his male hanging up by this tree. Oh, there's even hyenas here. Things are happening. There's 2 hyenas here also standing by for an opportunity to have something this morning. You can see Tingana is right under the tree. I haven't seen him for quite a long time. This is my favorite cat. Yeah, it's quite a lovely cat. So I'm not too sure what that animal is, but from here where I am, it looks like he caught an impala, a very big impala. So he will probably be here for quite a long time. So I'm just going to try now and reverse so that I can give one of the game drivers a chance to pass, as I can see that now he is about to leave the sighting. Thank you. Morning, morning, morning. So now let's go to a trolley on guided walk who is having follows on foot.
Hello. I was about to tell you about this termite mound, but we saw a herd of buffaloes ahead of us. It's about 100 to 150 meters. I'll ask Rex to follow them nice and safely. They are also moving. And the wind is on our favor. As you can see, it's going that side. and the buffaloes are that side. Honestly, buffaloes. They have a very good sense of smell. Rex is checking the tongue. Very fresh. I feel so great. I feel so powerful. It's my first time on foot next to the buffaloes. This moment is breathtaking. We have to be as quiet as possible. Rex, can you see them? Be patient, people. Be patient. Be patient. We're gonna see them in no heartbreaking time. I'm trying to be as quiet as possible. Yes, Katie, thank you. It's scary and at the very same time it's very exciting. We have to be as quiet as possible and check our wind direction regularly. We were right next to the Dermot Mound. I'm gonna go up and get the aerial view. Senso, are you going to be able to come here? I can see the buffaloes. Thank you, Senso. The head of buffaloes. And the wind is on our favor. The tongue I've used earlier on. Now I know it belongs to a member of one of this herd. This is so awesome. It's my first time being so close to the buffaloes on foot. It's so dry, that's why they have to travel far distances to eat the very good grasses, as we are from the dry season. Thank you for your question. I'm not really sure because they are in a thicket area, but I can a hundred, I can say, up to 100, I can say, and it seems like they are heading down there to have a drink. This is awesome. I love this. Let's go to Sydney with Tingana, the male leopard.
You can see now that Tingana is looking very tired. It means he has been feeding on his carcass for quite a long time because it is a very big carcass. He has been feeding on a fully grown impala. So you can see that the fully grown impala has got quite a lot of meat for him. He might have been here much longer. We haven't seen him for quite a long time. Look at that. It's a female impala that is hanging there. So the hyenas as well are here waiting just to have a chance. And he's not interested, he's not entertaining them. As I saw, one of the hyenas was also too close to him, but he's not bothered by the presence of the hyenas here at the moment. Maybe this is one of the reasons why we haven't seen Tingana for quite a long time, because Tingana, every time Hosana got something to eat, he's always there, taking over everything to eat. But now he got his own kill, and Hosana got his own kill on the other side. He is very much comfortable with the presence of this hyenas if he is lying down and trying to sleep like this. So he's not regarding the hyenas as a threat. He looks very much tired. You can see he's even sleeping, just putting his head on top of the front legs. This is lovely. So maybe he's gonna later on move around here to treehouse them for drinking purposes. Tingana has been doing a lot of hunting activities alone, because he has been recorded on several occasions catching small animals such as the scrub hares. That is why this cat, he doesn't lose any weight, because he does his own hunting activities alone. Yes, sometimes he can be opportunistic and get something that is there already from Hosana, but that does not necessarily mean Tingana is not doing his own activities. If you look at the tip of the nose, you can see that he is getting old now, because when the cats are getting much older, the tip of the nose, it gets very dark. Look at that. Now he's just changing the side. This is beautiful. Safari Sally, the distance between Tingana and Hosana is quite big at the moment. I can say they are at a distance of approximately 3 kilometers. And here where Tingana is, the nearest dam is the Treehouse Dam, which is not that very far. And on the other side where Hosana is, he's got Viatela Pen as the nearest water source. So for them to interact today, it won't be easy, because this one is depending here and the other one will be depending on the other water hole. So if you look right on the chest here by Tingana, you will see that here on the neck there's some very dark colored there's some very dark colored spots there. But on Hosana you will see a necklace. This one doesn't have a proper necklace. So this cat will be here maybe until tomorrow or after tomorrow, because the food left there is still too much. So, but looking at this tree where he's hiding the food, this food is not that very high. think the hyenas can be able to make a plan to get that, because it's hanging, and if the hyenas stand there, maybe they can be able to access that. It's not that very high where this impala is hanging. You can see the head is not that far. So I do have some other guests as well here having the same sighting. You can see the hyena is lying down there. It's just two of them. They are waiting as well to see if that impala is gonna fall, because it's hanging as if it's gonna fall. Dory, the leopards, I haven't heard them snoring, but cats, yes, they do snore. At one stage, I heard the lions were snoring loudly. The Unkuhuma pride, one of them was snoring loudly the other day. I can hear some of the alarm calls here from some of the small animals. I'm not too sure if the alarm call has got something to do with the hyenas on the ground or Tingana here, or maybe the wild dogs are coming towards this direction, because the distance between Tingana and the wild dogs is very much close. Raunek, the lions, unfortunately, they are not agile climbers. Yes, I have seen lions sometimes going up into the trees, but not for hiding the food purposes. They climb up there in order to take the food from the leopards. So lions cannot be able to take an animal up a tree. So, but they are also powerful to drag something big on the ground. Those are ground dwellers. So now let's go back to Koli, who is now busy with his interviews. I think he's now approaching the buffaloes from a different angle.
We found the perfect angle to view these buffaloes nicely and perfectly so. The wind direction is still on our favor. Some are lifting their heads up to get our scent, but I believe one has spotted us. We're trying by all means to stay camouflaged. This is wonderful. In such a very short distance, on foot with the buffaloes. These things are massive. Look at that. Look at those horns. Yes, Nancy, there's a lot. And we are so close, but in a very, very comfortable zone. They are not bothered. As you can see, there's no one that's reacting negatively to us. And the wind direction must be checked regularly because they rely more on the senses of their smell. Look at that. Yes, Tiny Pig. In most cases, the lions follow the head of buffaloes at all times. We might be lucky to have or to see the lions in a few days, or maybe after the head moved forward. As we know, lions live in a pride. They really need a very big meal. Buffaloes is their favorite because it can feed the whole pride. This is wonderful. I didn't hear the question nicely. Can you repeat that? Oh, thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Valerie. I'm from Mpumalanga, but far away from the site, in a place called Siabuswe. It's a very unique and nice village. That's where I come from. Look at that. And let's go to Sydney with Tingana.
I am still here with Tingana, and then I'm hoping to leave here anytime soon. This might be my last segment before going to see if I can see the little chief, Hosana. So Tingana is very much relaxed. Not much activities are taking place here. Maybe Hosana where he is doing some activities. You can see the head up. Beautiful. My aquarium, the lifespan of the leopards can survive up to 15, some up to 17 years. So they can survive much longer, and Tingana is also slowly getting there, is getting old at the moment. It will be very interesting to see Hosana and Tingana challenging each other when it's the right time for Hosana to start demarcating his territory. So now let's go to Brent by the Masai Mara, who is now looking at the wildebeest. I will be pulling out here in order to go find Hosana.
Well, we were going to leave the crossings, but then out of the hills streamed more wildebeest. So they could create a bit of a bulging that could force... Just move out of the road. Sorry, there's a car coming. That could force these, the rest that sort of walked down to the water's edge and then turned around. So you can see there's quite a lot streaming out from the hills over there. So the ones behind us, they went right down to the water's edge before turning around. And they are, oh, there we go. So they're walking through, so we might hang around here a little bit later to see what happens next. There could be a potential, quite a big crossing if all these wildebeest come down. Now this, from what I know, will be the biggest wildebeest crossing in this part of the park this year. So it'll be very, very interesting to watch, if it does happen, of course. Orchid is wondering, do crocodiles have a decent sense of smell? Indeed they do. Smell, and they've got something extra as well called which are little ciliary organs. They're little sensory organs that pick up vibrations and whatnot and in the water on their schnoz and on their face. Just seeing, we want them to get that proper migration jog on down towards the river. Tuna Cat is asking, are there any leopards in this area? Yes, Tuna Cat. There's quite a few different leopards in the Mara itself. There are definitely more leopards in the Mara National Reserve on the other side of the river from us, because of the ecosystem there. There's more little luggers and river systems that they like. But we do have a fair population of leopards. In this area, we don't see them too often. This is a... Ooh, go away, fly. We're in a non-off-roading zone, so unfortunately leopards will spend a lot of their time in little thickets like this, and close to the river, where unfortunately we can't really access all the time. Now, these wildebeest up here, you can see more wildebeest coming in the distance. But the big question is, will they actually cross the river today? Or will they mill about and keep us guessing, which is what they quite often do. Oh, quickly back to Tingana.
You can see now that Tingana is high up in a tree, as something just happened now. The two hyenas were trying to challenge him on the ground, and he decided to go up the tree for safety reasons. But now they went down again, the hyenas. So he's deciding now to lie down up in this tree. I don't think he's gonna come down now because he's looking at them now. So the hyenas, they came, they tried their luck. Oh, it's three of them, and now they are right on the ground, very much relaxed. They are not very far, maybe they are less than 12 meters away from the tree. I can see that one of them is climbing up the hill. Maybe he might come very close to the tree. He's having an eye contact with Tingana at the moment. I can see that some of the hyenas, two hyenas, gave up at the moment. Only one is standing looking at Tingana, but also retrieving now, going back to the lower level. It's going down the hill now. So you can see that the fact that the leopards are good climbers helps them in order to escape from danger. Now he's still very much relaxed. I think later on he might again come down. Looking at this termite mound, you can see that if the hyenas think about jumping, the chances of catching the carcass, they are very much high. So, but also Tingana, where he's lying at the moment, is not very far away from the ground. But it's good that he's on a lookout. He can see what they're doing. So I don't think they will be able to access his position. He's watching them closely. So you can see now he's resting. He's not even checking anymore. So the ears are still concentrating on those hyenas there on the ground. So now let's go back to Brent, who is driving by the Masai Mara, and see what he's going to find next.
Well, those wildebeest keep doing that. They walked like they were going to go, and then they just spread out and started grazing. So I'm going to go see what else I can find. Maybe head back towards where we last had those Mogoro girls going into the croton thickets, see if anything's accidentally wandered close towards them. Our shadowy pancakes would like to know what species are the crocodile up here. They are Nile crocodiles. So there are quite a few different species of crocodile in Africa, but the biggest and most widespread crocodile is the Nile crocodile. The only other sort of large crocodile species is the West African crocodile, which has only recently been separated as a species from the Nile crocodile in the last couple of years. Then you have slender snouted crocodile, and there's 2 species of those, and then you also have 2 species of dwarf crocodiles. I've seen every crocodile species in Africa bar one, the West African crocodile. I've also actually caught every species in Africa by hand except the West African crocodile. What is going on here? I saw a lot of cars rushing off in this direction on the other side of the river. Let's have a quick look. I don't think anything. I think it's a false alarm, but we'll double check. So the smallest crocodile I've ever caught, I've got a photo of it somewhere, was a tiny baby dwarf crocodile in the the Central African rainforests, and it was smaller than my hand. Ow! They make lots of funny little noises. Ow! Ow! So the dwarf crocodiles are quite interesting. They do live around little rivers and swamps and stuff, but they live in tunnels. They look almost like, well, what you would find in an aardvark burrow, but can you imagine an aardvark burrow around just in the forest, but it's oblong shaped, so the crocs can fit in. And there's actually a photo of me somewhere crawling down one to try see a dwarf crocodile, just my legs sticking out of the hole. So what happens is the hole goes down, and then at the base of the hole there's water, and they'll give birth to their babies in little swampy areas. I'm just having a quick look. Nah, nothing there. Moving on, moving on. Just having a quick look. Here are Scar's nemesis. Lisa is wondering, is it possible that the crocs may feel the vibration of hooves as they come down? It's possible. I think it might not be probable, though. I mean, it's possible. Those little organs on their noses are actually made to pick up vibrations in the water. So I'm not sure. It is possible, I suppose, when they get close enough to the edge. So I was saying, here's Scar's nemesis. And these buffalo seem to have it in for Scar. I've seen them chase him on multiple occasions. And once he nearly even got caught. Oh, and well, it sounds like Tingana's dealing with some hyena problems.
Now I can see that Tingana has just decided to go up to the carcass where he's feeding at the moment, and the hyenas are just waiting for the impala to drop down. If Tingana by any mistake lose this carcass, he's not going to get it back again. I can see these hyenas are even trying to check and scrutinize the tree and see if they can get this food. And I can see that the weight of that impala high up there is too much where it's hanging. Any mistake, these impalas, if the impala becomes lower, I can guarantee you these hyenas are going to take it away. can see that now he is feeding there. He is not disturbed, but when he's pulling with too much strength, that is when he might lose this carcass. You can see that quite a lot of weight is hanging. He is eating the part from the impalas that are helping to support the impalas hanging by the tree. Something interesting might happen here. Because I can see that now that impala is, you can see, is pulling it up, and he might lose this carcass. Because I can see that this I have got just a few of the scavenging animals. Look at that. That is the hyenas. Oh, I can see two now from that area there. These hyenas are just under the tamboti tree, whereby I have got one of the big cats trying to feed on a carcass, which is the impala. A very, very good morning and welcome to the special broadcast. I am Sydney Pumulan Mikosi. I am together with VM, who is my camera operator this morning, and we are here by the western side of the Greater Kruger National Park, the Juma Game Reserve. We are right now not very far away from the Viotella guest house, and here where I am, there is quite a very interesting actions taking place. I can see three hyenas are just waiting to have something to eat. Now I can see that the leopard up in the tree, he is trying to finish one of the carcass that is hanging up there, which is the impala. But looking at that carcass hanging, I can see that the chances of this leopard to lose the carcass are very much high. So these hyenas are now climbing uphill. You can see they are all coming together. They can see that chances are there. Maybe they can win here. So you can see that one is trying to sniff the small bits of meat that is falling from the tree at the moment. So hyenas, unfortunately, they are not good climbers. So this is amazing, and you can also ask me a lot of questions while I'm here now, because I can see this interaction is very rare, and it's interesting because hyenas mostly by this time of the day is when they're resting, but instead they are here waiting for a chance. Chris, this leopard, if you look at him very nicely, you can see that he's nice and big and he's getting cold a little bit. This is one of the oldest leopards in the game reserve. This is Tingana. So Tingana is one of the solitary leopards. Listen to that. You can hear that his teeth are still very much strong to crush bones. So at least one of the hyenas at the bottom is picking up some bits of meat. Marius, the chances are very much slim. If he drops this kill down, you can see now the kill is about to fall. Now you can see the hyenas are trying to catch it. He just nearly lost it, but he managed to grab the kill back again up into the tree. That was interesting. You can see that these hyenas are just waiting for an opportunity to grab that impala. So you can see the one at the bottom, he was on standby. He nearly managed to get hold of that impala because I was seeing him. He was standing on two legs. That was amazing. So let's see if maybe this leopard is going to manage to again put that kill somewhere for safety. So you can see now that he's trying to lick the carcass. When he's doing that is when he's trying to take off the hairs, as the tongue is more like a sandpaper. He was not teasing the hyenas. I saw that it was a very big mistake, because he was cutting all the meat that is helping the support of the carcass to hang up by the tree. And that is what caused that problem. He nearly lost the carcass. That was too close. And the hyenas were ready for that. So these hyenas, they are concentrating, oh, another small piece of meat just fell on the ground. One of the hyenas is trying to get it. Thank you very, very much for all your questions. Yes, indeed, this has been very much interesting. It was a highlight seeing the hyenas trying to get the food from the cat when the food nearly dropped to the ground. And now I'll be heading back to the normal safari. You can follow us on Twitter, hashtag. You can follow us on Twitter, hashtag SafariLive, and also YouTube chat stream. So I am still here by the Tingana sighting. You can see Tingana is now trying to feed, and he's sharing the food with the impalas, because all the small bits of meat falling to the ground, with the hyenas, you can see that all the small bits of meat falling on the ground from that impalas, the hyenas are also having on the ground. So you can hear Tingana crashing bones, that his jaws and teeth are still very much strong. So you can see that to Tingana, it's like age is just a number. So while I'm still waiting to see what is going to happen again here, let's go back to the interview. Toli on foot, who is approaching. I don't know what he's approaching at the moment.
Let me show you what I have for you. Termite mound. This huge castle, which is built by the small insects, the termite mound, the termites. I'm just gonna go on top of it and have a nice chill here. The size you see outside here, it's a quarter of what's underneath. And the termites, they didn't use any shovels, wheelbarrows to build a house. They only used the soil, their saliva, and their feces to create this very strong castle. There can be 1 million of termites in this castle, and they live nicely and warm. And the nice thing about this termite mound is that some other species, they rely on this termite mound for survival, like our porcupine, hyenas, and the honey badger, etc. That's for example. This is how they survive. And the biggest enemy of the termites are these black ants. Sorry for that. Are these black ants called the matabele ants. They are very, very, very much hating these termites. Linda, what a nice question. I'm just gonna move around the termite, because if there's an animal living inside here, I would see a hole, or see the tracks, or see the droppings of some other species except the termites. I don't see any hole yet. I didn't get that question clear. Can you repeat that, please? Yes, Ray. Yes, Ray. What a nice question. There are these ants called the matabele ants. They feed on these termites. They hate each other most, and they can come to a termite mound and invade the area and kill all the termite. I'm not seeing any holes yet for another species. It seems like this mound is still used by termites. I believe so, because I don't see any movement, any holes, any tracks, any droppings, or any smell from any other animals. But here we have the tracks here, we have the droppings here. Now I say it's a mongoose. These are mongoose droppings. It seems they might be living here, but there's no any hole that goes deep inside here. I believe the termites are still inside, because there's no hole that leads us into the inside of the termite mound. Let's go to Sydney with Tingana.
I can see that now Tingana is very much energetic. Look at those clouds. You can see now everything is out. He's trying to stabilize that carcass against the branches to make sure that there is no mistake anymore. So now Tingana is just crashing bones, and then the noise is very loud, as if he's doing it deliberately to show the hyenas that he's having something to eat, because the hyenas are just every time looking at him and listening to him crashing bones. So there's another vehicle approaching here as well. Listen to that. So he's just now busy with the ribs. Rosemary, thank you very much for such a lovely comment. Yes, VM is doing quite a lovely job. It's a very good camera work. You can hear that when the bones are crashing, hyenas are getting interested. Jongs, leopards, they don't have the same amount of spots on their bodies. Remember, each one of them has got its own spot pattern, and that's what creates the difference. So the amount of spots is not the same at all. You can see all the hyenas are now highly attentively listening to all the bones crashing up in this tree. But these hyenas are used to this kind of behaviors because they have been going after these leopards for quite a long time. They know that when they're eating up the tree, chances of losing the carcass are not very there. You can see another piece just fell there. You can see that piece just landed now, and this hyena is not too sure. It didn't see it. Another piece landed again. You can see there. That is how they are feeding. So now,
the advantage. Let's go off to the right a little bit. We'll start on the far right a little bit more. There we go. There's an African jacana. And you can see those sacred ibises with their designed beak probing into the mud for all sorts of little creatures. And look at those feet on the African jacana. Those massively long toes. They can walk on water, so to speak. And let's come across past the ibises. And we've got some Egyptian geese past the ibises. There we go, Egyptian geese and a hamakop. These marshes are so productive for birds at the moment. You can see the geese are grazing on the green grass. When the hamakop's fishing for frogs, and the ibises probing deep into the mud for all sorts of different little things. William is asking, are any of these rare birds? No, William, they're not. They're all actually quite common birds, but that doesn't make them not beautiful. And you can see the grass starting to blow, the Mara wind starting to pick up. Cal 6 is wondering what critters live in these marshes. Well, Cal 6, quite a few different critters. They will have some freshwater mollusks and gastropods, so snails and freshwater mussels, possibly some freshwater shrimp, very tiny ones, dragonfly larvae, mayfly larvae, stonefly larvae, dragonflies. I said dragonflies already. Of course, a whole host of different frog species, and even sometimes in the deeper ponds, like we're going to see just up ahead, catfish and tilapia and barbs and minnows, and also, of course, a whole bunch of different aquatic worm species will also live in here, and that's mostly what the ibises are going for. But let's move on a little bit, see what's happening at the deeper pool up ahead. Now, this is where the sort of the most northern part of the migration is at the moment as well. Bena is asking, does the Mara have any ground hornbills? Yes, more than the Sabi Sands. There's a lot of ground hornbills here. Oof, this road has got so bumpy. Let's try and drive on the smooth spot. Diana is asking, why aren't there any wild dogs in the Mara? There are, Diana, but they're very, very rare. There were 2 seen on the other side of the river earlier this year, and last year there were 2 seen on this side of the river. I'm not sure whether it's the same 2 or not. So one of the biggest threats to wild dog is rabies and distemper, both canine diseases, or canine distemper in particular, and rabies. And there are a lot of people who have dogs and whatnot who live around the Mara, so you probably find those zebra fighting or play fighting. You probably find that the dogs, when they do come into this area, pick up those diseases quite quickly, and they will die very quickly. There we go. It's getting a bit more serious a fight. Looks like two young stallions. Jumbo, buddy. So you can see the young stallions. They're getting a little bit more serious. Sometimes in these situations, an older one, or even if there's more young ones around, they'll come join in. But you can see how they're trying to bite the soft spots, sort of on the belly, under the armpits, and that's why they drop onto their knees like that, to protect those soft areas. This isn't too serious though, but they have a very fearsome bite. This is more playing than serious fighting. Stephen is asking, why do the zebras fight? Well, why do any animals fight? For either food or sex. So these guys are, oh, there we go, good kick. Will be practicing for when they're able to challenge a harem stallion for his females. So that is why most animals fight. It's for food resources or for mating rights. As I said, these guys are still quite young. This is not too serious. But a serious zebra stallion fight can go on for an hour, hour and a half, and can be very, very brutal. Sometimes when the stallions take over a harem, they will actually kill the young foals to try and get the female back into estrus. Oh, it looks like we have a victor. And that is not him. Yes, quite a while ago at Juma, Scotty saw a zebra stallion kick a foal to death. So it does happen. Zebras can actually be very, very aggressive animals. Okay, well that looks like it's over. Victory. Let's move on. Let's have a look what's further down the road. So there's small pockets of migration up here, and this is the furthest north they've been. And there are more zebra than wildebeest in this area at the moment. Now, it's a question we get asked often: is the migration slower or later or smaller or whatnot than usual? Well, you've got to remember that every year the migration is different. It completely depends on the amount of rain and grass and fires and lots of different factors. So this year it arrived later than last year, much later than last year, but it seems to be hanging around longer than last year. Oh, there's some zebra having a dust bath. Oh, they're finished now. Let's see if the next zebra likes that spot as well. Quite often, if one zebra is rolled there, the others coming up from behind will do the same. There you go. Sniff, sniff. Sniff, sniff. Are we going to roll? Sniffing. Yes, we're going to roll. Exactly the same spot. Oh, that looks good. Oh, that's nice. And again. And over. And again. There we go. Okay. Well, we're going to keep moving, see if there's any predators around the zebras. While we do that, let's send you back to Ole on foot.
Hello. It's
Seems that I'm not the only one who's enjoying the spring season. Senzo is enjoying the spring. James Henry is also enjoying the spring season. Even the birds, they're enjoying the spring season. I'm looking at this tree, which is called a weeping boar bean tree. Why is it called a weeping boar bean? It's because of the flowers. They produce a lot of nectar that drips and attracts the sunbirds. And the sunbirds we can find here and mostly being attracted by the tree are the Mariko sunbird, collared sunbird, and white-bellied sunbird. There's nothing for now. Oh, I can see a blackbird now. Southern black-tip. Sorry about that, Indigo Girl. It's called a weeping boar bean tree. Look at those birds. They're black and white. These are southern black teeth. Are they also attracted by this tree? Oh. Let's go to Sydney with Tingana. I'll keep a very good eye at this tree.
You can see now that the hyenas are up looking at the carcass. What is exciting the hyenas is the small piece of meat falling on the ground. They are feeding. I think each one of them already got something so far. And when they are standing like that, they are right under the carcass, and the small bits of meat, some of the tiny bits is just falling on their bodies. So they've got quite a lot of pieces there. So you can see that this leopard, if he doesn't hold that prey enough, the chances of the prey falling down again, they are very much high. You can see the clouds there is trying to balance. Oh, hyenas are also fighting for the small bits of meat that is falling. But I don't think that is enough. Hyena is a big animal. When they eat muscle. No, the leopards, they just ate everything. You can see there. So you can see that they are not very selective. When they are feeding, they just feed from the intestines, and they will eat the meat, and they will also crush the bones. So these cats are not selective, but only the hoofs. They don't eat the hoofs. You will see the hoofs and the bones that are very close to these hoofs not eaten at all. So I like to see the leopard a lot when they are absorbing and drinking the stomach juice. It's interesting. Oh, You can see that he's trying to hold again. Anita, the leopards, that is determined by what is happening in the family. Like when the family has got a small baby, the mother has to nest the small babies and they've got to hunt for the small babies. But the adults such as Tingana and Hosanna, when they are going out for hunting purposes, they are all doing it for themselves. But if the other family members comes there, they normally come and take over. And the problem is when they take over, they don't share, they defend it. So this leopard has been eating a lot. He's just about to finish that impala now. And when we got here, there was still quite a lot of meat there. But now, it's only the neck and the two front legs left. Amanda, when we got here this morning, we just saw him with the kill. We are not too sure if he killed this or he just took it from someone else. But I haven't seen him for quite a long time. And considering the fact that the wild dogs were far away from here where we are, this probably might be his own work. So after feeding here, he is just going to lie down. So these animals such as the leopards and specifically the hyenas which mostly feed on carrions, they don't have a problem with these bacteria, so they don't really get affected. And it helps us because when they are eating, those kind of bacteria help us against the diseases. You can see that he's getting tired of eating and the hyenas are tired of waiting and standing and raising the neck looking at that carcass. So now let's go to James and Tolly, who are now on bushwalk.
Mut, my favorite tree, which is called an African weeping wattle. It doesn't have thorns, and the leaves are so soft, and it's also known as a toilet paper tree.
That is the kind of joke that Toli promises never ever to use again, because obviously it is used by every new guide in the world, along with the banana bird for the hornbill, chili bird for the red-billed hornbill, and the salt and pepper bird for the grey hornbill.
And it's also known as a wren tree.
Thank you.
Because of the spindle box we find in this tree.
That's much better. Thank you so much. Right.
Thank you and goodbye. I love you all.
Well, we've decided to just sit with these zebras. There's just so much happening. Lots of little battles going on, rolling around. So it's definitely been worth it. Definitely one of my favorite animals to photograph. I just love the contrast in the black and white. And also they're busy. They're always up to something. They're doing stuff. They're fighting. So as the road crew is about to come past us. Mambo! You can say there's always something going on with the zebras. And lots of these little battles between the young males, which always makes them a great subject to stick with. These two over on this side have been going at it for ages. They're just hidden a bit behind some other zebras at the moment. But they've been, you can just see them there nipping at each other. There we go. Oh, there's a third one joining in now. Their ears flat, upset. Well, that one is. The shadowy pancake says these zebras don't have the grey stripe. I think you mean the sort of browny stripe, the shadow stripe that the South African zebras have. Well, they are the same species, it's just a different colour variation of them. So they are the same species, they just lack that stripe. You probably find it's to do with insects, most likely, but they don't need it here in the Mara. So it is fascinating how through different parts of Africa you can have different color variations of the exact same animal. Oh, well, it's been wonderful having you on drive with us here in the Mara. And for the last few moments drive, I'm going to send you off back to South Africa and the magnificent male leopard with Sydney Tingana.
You can see now Tingana is doing some grooming. He's busy now moisturizing the front foot in order to clean the face, in order to get rid of the blood that he got contacted with while he was feeding on the carcass earlier on. It's very important to do so because otherwise he's going to stink too much, and that is going to also spoil the chances of him to catch something next time. Safari Sally, the leopard tongue is very much strong enough in order to remove the hairs. I can see some of the hairs are even hanging there. You can see those are the hairs that has been taken out by that tongue, which is like a sandpaper. So you can see that now he's just about to relax. I'm very sure that he's not gonna come down here when these hyenas are here. He just has to decide on one of the branches and lie up by the tree. So these hyenas are not trustworthy here on the ground. It has been a tremendous morning, seeing all the actions. The actions were punctuated with quite a lot of activities from the wild dogs, which was the first sighting, and the buffaloes that we have seen on a guided walk. Now I have got Tingana here also feeding on a carcass while the hyenas are watching. And my highlight for this morning was when Tingana nearly dropped the carcass. That was interesting because all the hyenas, they were up, and one of them was even on two legs trying to catch the carcass. And it was very nice interacting with you, and thank you very, very much for all your questions and comments. Let's meet again this afternoon.